social media versus cold approach. This is a really interesting thing you just mentioned before earlier in this. And I've talked to Mystery about this before. I just feel like it's not that cold approach doesn't work. I just feel like there's been a software update. I feel like if you're just doing cold approach, it's like you're running Windows 95 excellently, like a really crisp version of Windows 95. But there's new software updates that have happened since then. And can you talk about let's go back to the business and dating thing. You want to sell a product. If I have an info product, I can scale it infinitely by selling the product direct to cart, running ads, and then going out and having events in real life and sell my product infinitely. When I show my higher status, higher sexual selection, higher access to scarce resources, relevancy, and competency on social media, I can scale it infinitely versus no matter how good I am at cold approach, I can never match those numbers.
Yeah, it's kind of like, knocking on door sales versus, sending like an email blast.
Yeah.
In terms of marketing and sales it's just primitive to me. I believe cold approach can work in certain contexts and in certain time frames of people's lives. So for example, if you're a young guy, you're in college, you're in a social environment, you're always around people, you have a big network, even that's not really cold. I guess that's a more warm approach, but yeah, and plus the availability of women when you cold approach, like you don't know if she's single in a relationship. A big objection you'll get is, oh, I have a boyfriend, whether it be rejection or actually true.
Yeah.
You just overall just waste a lot of time. And one thing I'm big on is creating value for yourself outside of just dating. So whether it be like working on your body, your business, leveling up in your career, whatever it may be. And so I want to minimize the time spent dealing with women by maximizing the other areas and using other areas of leverage to do so. I don't want to approach 100 to 500 girls a week personally. Like I'm not in the headspace to do that, nor do I want to. But, if you're 19, 20 years old, you just made it to college or something, then by all means go for it. But if you get to, where you're 25 plus, you're not going to want to do that, man.
Yeah, it's what you said is so key. I work on all these other parts of my life, right? I show competency in my business. I'm financially set. I'm in a really good position with my physique and my health. I have really great social alignments, and I have a bunch of women in my life who possibly introduce me to more women. I'm used to being around beautiful women. Women give me access to incredible parties and locations and stuff like that. And the irony is you spend less time trying to talk to women, and you talk to more beautiful women. And this is a huge misunderstanding, because I'm sure with your social media, you put a lot of work into your social media, but the ROI you get out of it is humongous. A lot of guys, the objection they give me is like, I want to do cold approach because I don't have time to do social media or social circle, not recognizing, no, it's an investment. Like you invest into real estate and then it pays you money over time. When you make that initial investment, it's constantly, and by the way, the returns are geometric. They're not exponential, they're geometric. When you just do cold approach, your returns are arithmetic, meaning they're 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. And so when you do like you said with social media thing, the returns you get are so great that you actually spend less time getting better results.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Put work on the front end and then continually get results on the back end. Passive income.
Yeah,
it
is passive income for sure. Like you could do very little. Again, like the concept. It's like, think of your Instagram almost, I consider it like an office. Imagine if you went to a personal injury attorney's office and a wall was missing, there was no couch, there was no carpeting. That's what it looks like when you have a social media where you're wearing a flannel shirt at a college football game where it's blurry and you're sitting there with 16 of your dudes drinking beer. That's what you look like to women. It's just like, I think one of the issues I have, and I think you completely you agree with me on this, is that social media for a man trying to attract a woman is a status game. It's not a showing pictures of you with grandma game. That's what Facebook is for. That we've retired those photos, we've archived them to Facebook. Instagram needs to be, you are competing with other men for access to like sexual selection and higher status. And if men don't understand, it's like gravity. If you don't believe in gravity, gravity's still going to pull you to the ground. If you don't believe there's a game going on, the game is still being played whether or not you believe it. And so many guys are like, no, I believe I'm special. I watched some guru on social media who told me that I'm enough. And I'm like, you can believe you're enough if you want, but the guy who actually gets it and takes care of all these different attributes is still going to steal your girl no matter how much you think you're enough. You're still competing. So if you just can adopt that and totally accept the idea, I'm competing with other men for these women. I've got to do things. I've got to keep my game up. And actually, be encouraged by that. Dude, I love the fact that there's some competition. I don't wish the game was easier. I just wish that I was better. And I think when you do that, I think it's a much more healthy way to look at this whole concept.
Exactly. And, you know, some guys, they have to allow women to be a byproduct, you know, build the social media for yourself. You know, you want to showcase and be attractive and, you know, do it for you. Allow women to just naturally come in. And that's something that I experienced because initially, you know, I was doing social media not for to get women to DM me or to message women. Like I really didn't care about that back in, you know, 2018, 2019 even. But it was a byproduct of me showcasing myself in the most attractive way possible and doing that consistently over time to the point now where, you know, I cannot post for a month or two, and every week there's somebody's DMing me, whether they be in this state, different country, my same city, like, you know, passive income.